We should have a special section for theories that suck. And of all the theories that suck that are going around these days, I think my favorite suck-ass theory is the one that says 90% of life is just showing up. No, wrong. 90% of life is not just showing up. 90% of life is the amount of preparation you do before you show up. 90% of life, that by entailment, is preparation. So let's assume you're going to an NLP training, right? You've got to do some deep preparation. Well, I'll put it this way. You don't have to do deep preparation. You don't have to do anything. But the amount of value you're going to get out of that training, the amount that's going to positively impact your life, is going to be 90% dependent on the preparation you do before you show up. If you give the trainer good, fertile soil to work with, that trainer can do something with it. If you bring the trainer dry, baked clay that no water can penetrate into, that trainer is going to have a hard job. I suggest probably one of my favorite top books to read carefully and thoroughly before you go to a training is this one, Sleight of Mouth by Robert Dilts. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It's as much of a solid foundational base that you're going to build a training on as anything that I can think of. And read the book carefully, all right? And chapter by chapter, take notes, highlight it, right? That's going to kind of burn out the thing there, but use highlighters. Highlight. Get in the practice of highlighting and reading carefully. And especially go back here to page 273. And page 273 is a transcript of Richard in a training, making a very strong challenge to his trainees at the time, and then an analysis follows down there. So one half of it is Richard, and one half of it is Robert tracking Richard and then modeling Richard and figuring out by that tracking process what modeling to build on Richard's work. And then he took the Richard model and used it himself at another training. So that's a nice little sample of modeling, and also the kind of language patterns and challenges that do happen in trainings. And Robert will also provide you with his little basic map there of the sleight of mouth map, and the map that he used in his mother's encounter with cancer. The other book that I would recommend as a book you would co-read is Chalmers Brothers, The Language and the Pursuit of Happiness. Language and the Pursuit of Happiness comes from a more philosophical model, more of a Fernando Flores model, but I think there's a really nice mesh between Chalmers Brothers and Robert Dilts. So my little takeaway lesson for you is, every time I want to implant this thing in your mind, I want to like really build kind of a little mental response module in your head. Anytime you hear externally or internally 90% of life is just showing up, just have a flashing neon sign in your brain and just have that sign flash about 5 times really brilliantly in garish colors. Bullshit, 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 bullshit. 90% of life is not showing up. 90% of life is preparing. 90% of life is getting ready for what might happen. And 90% of life is building robust different scenarios for what might happen and preparing for all those possible scenarios. So think about that. I want you to practice, practice, practice before you show up. I want you to internalize that belief. 90% of life is the preparation you do before you show up. And practice, 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 practice. Be good. That little thing. Here it is. All right. Remember, Language and the Pursuit of Happiness by Chalmers Brothers. You will read this. This will go into your mind and curricula. And we have this here book. Sleight of Mouth Patterns by Robert Dilts. Robert, the preacher, gonna rectify your ass, boy. Read this shit. I'm gonna come get you with my phaser and shoot you in the butt.